Magnesium is a very good element, but it is actually found inside the cell. Now, look at it this way. We have blood, and in the blood, we have cells. And inside the cells, we have another fluid. So whatever is outside the cells is what we call the extracellular fluid. And in the extracellular fluid, we have sodium ions, we have chloride, we have the calcium, we have the bicarbonates, and we have glucose. That is outside the cell. Now, this glucose, to get into the cell, you must open the gates. And those gates are the ones that are opened by insulin. And chromium actually helps that glucose to get into the cell from the extracellular fluid. Now, inside the cell, we have potassium, we have magnesium, and we have the phosphates. So understand that we have those that are outside the cell and those that are inside the cell. So magnesium is actually an intracellular, intra means inside the cell, an intracellular mineral. And now, magnesium can be exchanged with calcium because they lie under the same group in the periodic table. Do you remember those groups and periods? So magnesium and calcium, they lie under the same group in the periodic table. That's group 4, I think. So now, calcium and magnesium can be interchanged. When calcium comes into the cell, magnesium has to go out for us to maintain the homeostasis. So when a positive is coming in, positive has to go out. Just the same way when sodium is coming in, potassium goes out. So this one, when calcium comes into the cell to help in contraction, magnesium comes out. And when magnesium comes in to help in relaxation, calcium goes out. So they are interchangeable, okay? Good. Having understood that, I want you to see this. That calcium, magnesium, and phosphates all are components of the bone. So in your bone, by the way, the bone is the one that has the highest amount of minerals and microminerals. So therefore, bone soup is very important. Already we are starting to see the sources of magnesium. Bone broth is very important. So we have calcium, we have magnesium, we have the phosphates in the bone and in the teeth. So even your child needs bone soup to actually help him in developing the dental formula that is actually awesome. And then you drop the sugar so that they don't end up again having problems with their teeth. And then excessive magnesium. If you have more magnesium inside the cell, we've said if you're pumping magnesium inside the cell, calcium is leaving. That tells you that magnesium and calcium are they can't sit in the same room. They are enemies. So that tells you if you have excess of magnesium, you will have less of calcium. If you have excess of calcium, you have less of magnesium. They are interchangeable. This is very important because some of you take magnesium without knowing that you're taking magnesium. I'm talking about people who are constantly taking antacids. Those liquid or those suspensions for antacids, they have magnesium trisilicate. And there are people who cannot live or stay without taking an antacid. They have that double action. They have another one that has fire on it. You know that? All of them are magnesium trisilicate, and some of them have magnesium hydroxide. So that is you taking magnesium without even knowing. So loss of magnesium causes bone problems. Yes, if you're losing magnesium from your system, there's a bone problem. Also, if you have excess magnesium, there's a bone problem because when you have excess magnesium, the good thing is magnesium can be pumped into the cell to help you in easing up on pressure. But if you have excess magnesium in the system, that means calcium is going down, and that means bone problems. So both less magnesium and high magnesium can be a problem to the bone. 𝐁𝐃, that's very true. So you see, you're pumping in calcium to help in contraction. You're pumping in calcium in the bones to help in bone density and bone strength. But the problem is, as you do that, you're affecting magnesium levels. But I want you to see this 𝐁𝐃 because this question is very valid. By the way, listen to this. Lots of magnesium causes bone problems. That is true, right? But I want you to see this, that magnesium and calcium in the blood, they are charged. There's that magnesium 2+ and calcium 2+. So they are charged. But magnesium in the bone and calcium in the bone, they are not charged. So yes, you'll affect bone density and bone strength, but at a very small percentage. Why? Because for you to actually pump or for you to actually alter the calcium and magnesium levels, they must be charged. But in the bone, they are very neutral. They don't have charges. But this is important. When calcium in blood is going down, the body turns to the bone to break down that calcium to actually ionize it and bring it into blood to maintain the level. That's where the problem comes in. So the problem is not directly that this calcium, this magnesium that is going up in blood will actually affect the bone. The problem is magnesium is going up in blood, you bring down calcium, and now the body senses we have low calcium. So hypocalcemia. And then the body turns to the bone to break down calcium to release it into the bloodstream. When that happens, now we start having high calcium in blood. So indirectly, you're affecting the bone. Nitrogen, I hope you're getting that. So it's not a direct relationship as such, but the end result will be calcium will be leached out of the bone, and that is a weakness to the bone. Anyway, let's continue. Somebody's asking cardiological issues. Yes, of course, calcium, high calcium. Calcium is used for contraction. We talked about calcium. Calcium is used for contraction of heart muscles, contraction of muscles, the smooth muscles, and also the skeletal muscles. It's used to contract. When it contracts, the glands reject their hormones. When it contracts, the heart pumps out blood. When it contracts your muscles, zinafanya kazi. Okay? Zinafanya kazi. But you see, when the muscle contracts, you fold your hand, right? You need the muscle to relax for you to release the hand. That is where magnesium comes in, because as the muscle is contracting and relaxing, it's actually picking calcium from blood and magnesium from blood. So it picks calcium to contract and then picks magnesium to relax, because now you're pumping calcium outside the cell. This is the same concept in blood pressure, hypertension. So hypertension, you have smooth muscles. There are cells of smooth muscles on the lining of the blood vessel. So when calcium gets into the cells of these smooth muscles, what they do is they contract. When they contract, the blood vessel constricts and blood pressure goes up. Now also remember, the same calcium that is high in blood is contracting the heart muscles. So that becomes a problem. You have high pressure and then you have narrowing blood vessels. So this is increased resistance. This means the blood pressure will totally shoot, and that can affect your kidneys. That can cause aneurysm, rupturing of blood vessels, and the strokes, okay? So calcium is not a very good one in blood in terms of higher levels. Anyway, I was talking about magnesium in terms of blood pressure. So when calcium is coming here causing this contraction, if you give magnesium, magnesium will come into the cells and replace calcium, and calcium will come out of the cell. And this blood vessel will now relax, the muscle will relax, and the blood vessel will dilate, and the blood pressure will fall. That is the mechanism of using magnesium in actually handling blood pressure. And that is also the mechanism of using magnesium in handling preeclampsia, the hypertension in pregnancy that actually causes convulsions. So you're pumping magnesium sulfate to actually make sure that there's relaxation of the smooth muscles that line blood vessels, so that when the blood vessel is relaxing, we are easing up on blood pressure. Okay? Good. So now, we were talking about how high magnesium causes low calcium and all that, and therefore weak bones and weak teeth and all that. Therefore, be very careful with the supplements, as they are constantly marketing to you that, oh, you know what, magnesium supplements are going to help you in relieving anxiety, they're going to help you in blood pressure and all that. Fix the causes. The cause of hypertension is not absence of magnesium. Magnesium can come in secondary to help you recover, but the cause of high blood pressure is not magnesium. It's not absence of magnesium, no. It's your bad diet that is actually causing you clogging of arteries. It's your bad diet that is causing you failure in kidneys. Therefore, there's no regulation of blood pressure. So fix the diet before thinking about the supplements. If any case, all these supplements are in food. Magnesium is very rich in avocados. Magnesium is rich in pumpkin seeds, so is zinc. Magnesium is rich in nuts, the almonds, the cashew nuts, the peanuts. Magnesium is rich in green leafy vegetables, egg yolks, chicken skin. Those of you who throw away the skin, this is time for you to eat the skin. And apparently people who have hypertension are the ones who are actually told to throw away the skin, the chicken skin. That's a problem. And do not trust the fortification of foods. Do not trust that there's magnesium in those fortified foods. There's fortified cereals. That is not magnesium. Simply go for natural and organic magnesium, which is found in those foods that I just mentioned. The seafoods also have magnesium. That tells you the body struggles to assimilate the synthetic calcium, synthetic magnesium supplements. The body struggles to assimilate them. We can only use supplements when we are eating foods that are coming from industries. Let me repeat that statement. The only reason why we consume supplements in plenty is because we are not even eating foods. We are eating products that are coming from the industries. And we are being lied to that they are fortified. And then we end up getting mineral deficiencies because these minerals have been depleted from these products during processing and the ultra processing. So they are not foods, they are just products. So now you eat these products for about 5-7 years. What do you expect? The body is actually starving. So you're only adding fat but not adding any benefit to the system. Now the body starts to collapse, starts to reward you with health conditions for eating bad foods. And now you're complaining, oh, you know, I have hypertension. Oh, you know, I have this and that. All those conditions are coming because you have embraced the wrong idea of wealth. And you're thinking eating chapatis, eating these processed foods is actually being wealthy and putting up a standard. You're lying to yourself. You have money, you can afford those products, but again, you'll be able to afford medicine, right? So choose you. You either pay the farmer or pay the farmer. Choose the farmer that you want to pay. Anyway, point number 3. Taking magnesium can actually lower the risk of kidney stones. So I'm talking about both the benefits and the odds of magnesium. So when you take magnesium, either as supplements or either in diets, you're actually easing up on your risk of getting kidney stones. Somebody tell me why. If you had and understood point number 2, I want you to tell me why you think that taking magnesium or even magnesium supplements can actually help you reduce the risk of getting kidney stones. And I talked about this when I was talking about the calcium. So I want you to tell me, why is it that we can actually use magnesium to actually suppress our ability or our risk of getting kidney stones? Why is it important? That because magnesium is going to replace calcium. Now listen, the most common cause of kidney, actually the most known cause of kidney stones, or the most known type of kidney stones, are the calcium oxalate stones. Now I remember I told you, magnesium and calcium are always competing. So they always have the same intake and outtake. They compete through the same channels. So in the gut, when you're absorbing calcium, you're not absorbing magnesium. When you're absorbing magnesium, you're lowering calcium. So one has to get in and one has to go out. This is the same thing that happens to what? To the kidneys. Reabsorption of magnesium eases up on calcium. Reabsorption of calcium eases up on magnesium. So since these two are in the same group in the periodic table, they can actually replace each other. So what happens is when you take in magnesium, whether the supplements or in diet, you're actually replacing that magnesium, that calcium that is bound on the oxalate in the kidneys to form kidney stones. So that means you're going to ease up on the kidney stones. This is a technical aspect of it. So magnesium can actually come in handy in actually replacing calcium, and that means the kidney stones will just disappear. Amazing, right? And then you can now drink your water plus salt to just get them out of the system. That is perfect. So yes, that is how it happens. What deficiency makes one to eat mawe? I told you in the other live, that is zinc deficiency. The white nails, the brittle hair, the eating of stones and changa, those are zinc problems. This is magnesium. Okay? Now, magnesium can actually help in improve blood pressure outcomes. We've talked about that, right? So already right now, you know, if you take in magnesium supplements, you're going to actually help yourself in easing up blood pressure. However, people who have been diagnosed with hypertension will think that, you know what, I'll constantly eat what I've been eating and now I can take magnesium supplements to get better. You are lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself because as you constantly eat what you're eating, you're actually feeding the disease. So there is no way you're coming out of this. There is no single way you're coming out of this. So you'd rather stop what you've been eating that caused you the problem, and then now you can actually enjoy magnesium to do other roles in the system. Because magnesium plays so many roles, from the CNS, from the nerves, from the bone, from teeth, from the gut function. Oh, it does a lot of jobs in the system. Anyway, another point, that magnesium is very important in formation and breakdown of ATP. Now, those people are constantly saying, you know what, I have to eat carbohydrates to get energy. When you eat a carbohydrate, you break it down to glucose, and that glucose has to go into several steps to actually yield ATP, which is the energy currency for the cells. Those steps are what we call the glycolysis. Okay, so glycolysis is breaking down glucose to get energy and all that. So those steps that are involved in this glycolysis process, there are about 20 steps. Those of you who have gone to medical classes and all that, you know of the 20 steps of glycolysis. Those steps, what happens is magnesium must be involved in formation of ATP, and then after you form this ATP, for you to break it down, you must use magnesium. So anytime you are feeling this low energy, just know magnesium, you might be having magnesium deficiency. Anytime you're having these symptoms of anxiety and palpitations, weak bones and bad dental formulas, now start associating that. Start thinking about magnesium. Go and check magnesium levels. ATP being the energy source of the system, adenosine triphosphate. So when you can't use glucose as energy. You break down glucose to release something that is actually going to be used by the cells as energy. That's what we call the ATP. Okay, Naito, that is what we call the ATP. Good. And then magnesium plays an important role in what? In muscle relaxation. There's a condition called tetany. Tetany is a condition that is caused by tetanus, the tetanus toxoid, where you have your muscle contracting so fast. Muscles na contract continuously and you cannot control them. That is influx of calcium all through. So what do? Give magnesium sulfate or give magnesium supplements. For those guys who have twitching of the eyes all the time and they are non-stop, you can't help them. Magnesium comes in handy because it causes relaxation of these muscles. So actually magnesium is a muscle relaxant. You can simply eat avocados and nuts to get the supplement that you need. You can do a magnesium supplement to actually make sure that your system wakes up from those contractions that can actually mess you up. And by the way, as magnesium causes relaxation of these muscles, one challenge comes in. When you're taking those antacid suspensions and all that have magnesium causes diarrhea. So magnesium salts cause diarrhea. Magnesium salts cause diarrhea. Calcium salts cause constipation. Do you see again where they go left and right? So this one is causing diarrhea, the other one can actually cause constipation. So when you take in those supplements for magnesium, chances are one of the side effects will be a serious diarrhea. Oh, you will diarrhea yourself all the time. And they will not tell you. And when you diarrhea, you are losing out on sodium and you're losing out on the potassium sometimes. But vomiting is the one that actually is responsible for potassium, a high amount of potassium loss. But diarrheaing, you're losing chloride, you're losing water and getting dehydrated and you're losing sodium. So magnesium can actually, again, cause sodium deficiency when you're actually getting into the diarrheaing stage. So yes, this one is a very good element, but it has a lot of challenges in terms of taking the supplements. That's why it is easier if you simply eat foods that are rich in magnesium, because the body knows what to do with this magnesium. Excess of it will be taken out, rather than go for the supplements, thinking that these supplements are going to change your status in terms of hypertension, and yet they are going to actually bring you so many problems later on. So be cautious. Do not be so fast to just jump into supplements because somebody was marketing them to you, because somebody just used them and they improve their sleep. Do not be fast to jump into them, okay? Always analyze your system. When you have a real deficiency that needs to be addressed by the supplements, now we can actually head that direction of supplements as you fix your kitchen and your gut. As you fix your kitchen and your gut. I insist that, because that's where the problems are coming in. Good. So where are the sources of magnesium? Let me read some of the sources of magnesium. One, of course, green leafy vegetables. Also cruciferous vegetables, the broccoli, the cauliflower, the lettuce, the cucumbers, and all that. We have meats, all types of meats. We have poultry plus the skin. We have beans, our complex carbohydrate. We have sweet potatoes. We have almonds, avocados, and all that. Imagine the food that we actually advocate for are the food that still have the magnesium. Why don't we just follow that direction? Imagine, guys, when I tell you to just eat healthy, I really pity these guys who keep on arguing in my comment section. I really pity them. Why? Because they don't know what we are talking about. They are not here on this live. Of course, they will not be here. They don't care. But they will come and put that negative energy in the system. The reality is, if you just start eating healthy, you will not struggle to do anything.